welcome to Manifest Quests, where it's never too late to change your life for the better. What is manifesting? Let's go to the dictionary. It says, manifesting, to make evident or certain by showing or displaying. So I would suppose that manifesting, to me, it's just creating something. Bringing into existence something. So I guess that's making evident something. My example of, like, the first time I can think of totally unconsciously manifesting something that I wanted, and there's probably you've manifested, I've manifested everything in my life. Like, there's no other way around it. Thoughts spiraling out of control caused my life to spiral out of control, and my mood to spiral out of control, and people around me spiraling out of control by their behaviors. So the first time I manifested something unconsciously that I wanted, that I desired, was just something really kind of insignificant, I guess. I was about 19 years old, and I was invited to go camping. And I was, for some reason, really broke. I don't really remember being very broke when I was a teenager, but I was broke, or I didn't have the money to go camping or buy the food to go, or I didn't have a tent. I was going to be sharing a tent, so that wasn't a big deal, but we had to bring our own food and whatnot. And we weren't a camping family, so I didn't have camping stuff available to me. We had a cottage, so growing up, we never went camping. Like, camping was sleeping in a cottage with running water and, all the amenities of home, I guess. So I didn't really do the camping thing. So anyways, I had my own car and all that kind of good stuff. And I thought, well, I can't really go. I had the directions. I had a map, of course. This is way back when there's no other way to get somewhere other than to have a map if you didn't know where you were going. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. Like, whatever. I only have $40 to my name. I'm going to go. So that had to include, gas to get there and back, which was way up north. Gas, of course, back then was not very expensive, and I had a little car that took very little gas. So it was like, okay, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to go, stop at the bank, hit the store, grab some food, and off I go. Without any real plan, just to meet my friends. So I went and I stopped in a little tiny place, which I knew had a bank machine. I'd been up north many times. So I knew it had like a CIBC bank machine. ATMs back then were hard to come by to get into the place. And they had like a little grocery store, and I would across the street or kitty corner from the bank. So I knew that was available on the way. And I stopped, and I thought, oh my God, I'm pulling out my last $40. Like, pulled into the bank, got out of my car, went to the bank machine, put my card in, said, $40. And it spit out, I think it was 60 maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think there were 3 bills that came out. So 3 bills came out, a 20, 100, and a 20. They didn't have $100 bills coming out of machines back then, and they wasn't really common. I don't recall seeing a whole lot of $100 bills when I was young, except in my father's pockets. So I went, whoa, that's cool. kept the 40, put the 100 right back in, so I had like more money in there, and I didn't have to stress about it. And I went, got a little bit of some groceries to contribute to the food up there, and put $10 in my car, and I was good to go. And I still had more money in the account, and I was just totally kind of blown away by that. And I told everybody the story, and nobody had that mindset of being able to create something or pull something out of thin air like that. So I thought that was very interesting, and over the course of time, I've never ever had that happen before, and I've never ever heard of anybody having done that before, like a bank machine screwed up. Like there were hundreds sitting in the 20s, especially back then when nobody really had hundreds back then. Like nobody walked around with hundreds. Bank machines wouldn't have been throwing hundreds. Like it was really unique and interesting and kind of bizarre. So that was the first time I sort of unconsciously manifested something. And there was a lot of time over the years where it was when I made a solid decision, like kind of off the cuff, going, you know what? Nope, I'm going to go for it. And somehow something unfolded that was unexpected but pleasant, to aid along the way. So, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So, having said that, I don't know what you've manifested, little, big, the games you play in manifesting. I remember the first time I really consciously knew that, well, they say that you can create stuff in your life, that you can bring around about stuff in your life. Like, that's so bizarre. And it's way too simple. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll work. I'll see. So I decided that I was going to manifest, I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Volkswagens, but it was some particular type of car that was unique. Maybe it was Volkswagens. Anyway, I was driving down the road, and I was thinking earlier that day, I'm like, I'm going to see Volkswagens. Like today, it's not a very popular car around here from what I have determined. So I thought, well, I'm going to see Volkswagens. So I'm driving down the road, and it was 9:30 at night on a Sunday or something. Like it was pretty slow. No cars around, no one really on the road at all. And I was going to get my daughter, and I was driving down a particular road, and I was turning left, and there was a Volkswagen, there was a Volkswagen in front of me and a Volkswagen behind me, but I didn't know what was behind me. It was late at night and whatnot, and I'm a pretty old lady driver, so I drive around the corner and change lanes into the slow lane and whatnot. So I knew there was a Volkswagen in front of me turning left. So then I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. There's a Volkswagen. Oh, I'll pick that up. And then I'm driving down the road, and guy behind me passes because I go over to the left or over to the right, but he passes, pulls in front of me, and turns right. So I mean, number one, why would you do that? But number two, I was like, oh, well, maybe that was like the universe going, hello, do you see me? I'm a Volkswagen too. So anyway, go and get my daughter and come home, and it was kind of a weird thing. And the next thing I was playing with was, what are they called? Clothespins. Like the old-fashioned wooden clothespins. I was like, so I'd like to actually have one handed to me, which I thought, who would hand me a clothespin? That's out of the ordinary. Like, who would hand me a clothespin? I don't have any of those clothespins. I haven't seen clothespins. I don't have a laundry line. Like, I don't have one of those things. So it was a couple of weeks later. And I had, you forget all about the little things that you're playing with. So I had a tenant who was just, not really, I guess a tenant. I was boarding out one of my extra bedrooms. So they brought me the rent money with a clothespin on the rent money, folded with the rent money, and handed it to me. And I was like, oh my God. I haven't seen a clothespin like that in, 15 years. What are the odds? So then I was like, maybe there's something to this. So then I started really digging around, playing with this, doing a lot of research and the science behind it and whatnot. Anyway, so I thought, well, some people are down on the way the methods that some people use. They go, oh, that's not required and they're doing it wrong, and that type of attitude. And I think that everything works if you believe it does. So if something works for you, like there's over 7 billion people on the earth. We're not all, like, our brains aren't created the same. None of us are the same. So if something works for you, stick with it. And I would suggest probably trying a method and sticking with that method for a while. A lot of people get discouraged because they're like, well, I've been doing this for 5 days and I don't have my stuff. Like, where's the stuff I want? Yeah, it takes practice and it takes time. So I would suggest choosing a method that strikes a chord with you, that resonates with you, and to go ahead and do that for a while. It's just everybody's different. So what may work for somebody may not work for you, because it just doesn't strike you, and you're not apt to continue doing it if it's not something that strikes a chord with you. So that's my little tidbit of advice. So I'd like for you to leave a comment below and to try out a method like that you would like me to try out, and we can all do it together. That's sort of the goal. Go on the journey together, see what works, what doesn't work, pros and cons to different methods and whatnot. So that would be beneficial to get involved and to find out what you'd like to do, because this is all about helping you. Anyway, I hope you have a great night, and we will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. It's free to subscribe. It doesn't take any time to push a button. And let's get the word out that things can get better. They can always get better. Thank you so much again. Bye-bye.